Hello friends, my name's Emile and welcome to a brand new Let's Play here on my channel. This is Gran Turismo 2, the real driving simulator. Now this one's been a bit of a pain to record. I was originally planning to record this on a PlayStation 2. Unfortunately I've had to switch over to the PS3 because that's currently the only thing I can get this capture card to actually work with. That will actually, of course, play Gran Turismo 2. So yeah, that's fun. And I've been having tons of issues with this capture card. I've had to go out and buy a brand new capture card for capturing this game, and that hasn't been fun. So I've spent about 3 days trying to sort that out, and as a result, I'm not exactly as far along in the schedule as I'd like to be. So that's fun. Another thing is I've noticed the audio keeps desyncing on this, which is just fantastic. So yeah, I think for this first episode, because I've had so many issues with it, I'm literally just going to, after each and every race, I'm going to stop recording, and then I'm going to restart the recording, stop the recording, restart the recording, because that seems to be like the only way I can think to actually sort of try and stick on top of this. Hopefully it shouldn't be too much of an issue after this next episode. Hopefully these subsequent episodes can all be normal. But anyways, I'd like to welcome you to Gran Turismo 2, the real driving simulator. Welcome to possibly the greatest game of all time, at least in my opinion. I absolutely adore this game. I think it's fantastic. I still think it's fantastic to this day. Now, a lot of people, you know, say, oh, you're just nostalgic for games. This, I genuinely believe, if you went and picked this game up today, having not played it at all, ever in your life, you would actually enjoy it. Unfortunately, I haven't been enjoying it because of all the recording woes. So much so that I've actually recorded this episode twice now. So that's fun. So let me just quickly go and dive into sort of what I've done in those two episodes which you didn't see. I went to go and buy my first car. I ended up buying this, a Nissan Micra Super Turbo from 1989. It looks absolutely ridiculous. It is a ridiculous car. It's twin charged, which means it's supercharged and turbocharged, which is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I bought this thing for 3,400 credits, I believe. I spent the other 6,000 credits on a Stage 1 turbocharger and a computer. So now we are running 155 brake horsepower with 770 kilograms of weight, which is not a lot. I went with this car just because I wanted something a bit different from the usual Nissan Skylines and RX-7s people start these games off with all so often. So I decided to go with this to be a little bit different. Anyways, the first episode, we are going to go to the Sunday Cup. Before we do, though, I'm just going to quickly explain you through the Gran Turismo Federation. This is where you find your race events. Now, there are 4 different types of events, I guess. There is the Gran Turismo League, which is the National Championships, International Championships, and the World Championships. Now, most people consider sort of like the World Championships to be finishing the game, quote unquote. So we won't be delving into the Gran Turismo League for a long time. Essentially, I could do, but I don't really have the cars for it or anything like that yet. There is special events, which are the ones that we're going to be doing today. There's the Sunday Cup. You can see all the trophies on it because I've won it so many bloody times. Anyways, as you can see, there are tons of events to do in here, and for the most part, they each give you a prize car and a decent amount of money, which you can put towards going into the Gran Turismo League. There are dirt events, which are the rally events. There's quite a few of these. I've never really played around with these before in GT2. So I'll probably end up doing these towards the end of the Let's Play, and yeah, hopefully they will be fun. And finally, there is endurance races, because of course there is. You can't have a Gran Turismo without endurance races, and there are 7 of them, and we may get onto these. I'm not too sure, to be perfectly honest with you, because yeah, they're awfully long. Anyways, let's get into the first of our events, which is the Sunday Cup, and we go to Tahiti Road for the first race. Okay, just quickly before we get into our first race, just figured I would show you off the pre-race screen. You can go for a test run on the track, you can tune your car settings, which is suspension and stuff like that. And yeah, you can start race and exit. So yeah, let's get into this. I'm going to be using manual transmission for the entirety of this game, just because running automatic in Gran Turismo is a bit of a death sentence. because the automatic gearbox is pretty hopeless. Speaking of hopeless, let's look at our competition. There is a Suzuki Wagon RRR, there is a Subaru Vivario, a Daihatsu Kawore, a Mitsubishi Mini Pajero, and a Honda Logo. Yeah, welcome to Japanese K cars from the 90s, which our Super Turbo should be able to breeze by. Now, one of the reasons I really like this game is because it's got a stupidly varied and interesting car list. There are so many interesting cars in this game, like this Nissan Micra Super Turbo, which is one of the reasons I went with it, because it's a very interesting car. Don't worry, I will definitely be delving into some of the interesting cars. I plan to use that mini Mitsubishi Pajero thing in like a couple of episodes time, just because I find it extremely amusing, and I would kind of love to use it. Essentially this Let's Play is going to be, let's use a bunch of cars which we can't use in any other racing game, because there's an awful lot of cars which just aren't in any other racing games. A couple that come to mind, of course, the Mitsubishi Pajero Mini. There is a Citroen Saxo in this game, which you can racing modify, which I'll get into in a couple of episodes. There is a Fiat Cento Sporting. There's all sorts of crazy, interesting, funny little cars from the 90s in this game, which is why I love it, because I love 90s cars. You basically ask any person who grew up in the 90s and they'll tell you, like, 90s cars are fantastic. You know, we don't know why. We can't explain why they're so good, but we really do love them. Like, I love my Nissan Micra Super Turbo because it is stupidly quick. It's actually really nice handling as well. It's actually a lot of fun to just throw this thing into the corners. As I was saying, like, the handling system in this game is really, really good. It really holds up. It, you know, admittedly, it's nowhere near realistic. This game is not realistic in any sense of the word. There are simulation tires you can put on cars, which just are not realistic in any way, shape, or form. But the handling system's fun. It's great. It's not like, say, Need for Speed Pro Street, which I went back to that game and the handling system was atrocious. But in this game, it's fantastic. It's huge amounts of fun to sort of throw these vehicles into corners. And I mean, look at that. I can get the rear end sliding out on a Nissan Micra. It's fantastic. Also, fair note to the front of this car, it's amazing. There is a hood scoop, which is off-center because, of course, there are like some rally spotlights in there. It's a pretty cool car. You've got to say, it's pretty fantastic. So yeah, anyways, our first race here on Tahiti Road, a track which hasn't appeared since Gran Turismo 2, results in us winning, because of course it does. I will say the previous times I've done this, the AI cars have been like a second behind, but what are we running? They're 5 seconds behind. So the Daihatsu Kawore won, the Subaru Vivio became in third, in fourth was the Suzuki Wagon RRR, in fifth the Mitsubishi Pajero, and almost 10 seconds behind was the Honda Logo TS. Yes, it may be bright yellow, it may be Civic Type R yellow, but it isn't very good now, is it? Anyways, we move on to correcting our prize fund, which is 3,000 credits. You will notice I have a ridiculous amount of money for this early in the game because of the amount of times I've had to redo this bloody cup. Do not grind the Sunday Cup, kids. Just don't do it. Also, don't ever try to record a Let's Play of Gran Turismo 2. Play it on an emulator like everyone else does. Don't do what I did and try and play the original PS1 copy. Anyways, for our next race, we are going to the high-speed ring. So this is where the competition ramps up. You'll start seeing some sort of late 90s sports cars in this race, which will be fun, I guess. So yeah, let's get into this. Okay, so here we are on the track with a bunch of random sports cars from the 90s. What have we got? I see a Fiat Coupe in front of me. I see a Nissan Silvia 200 SX. I'm hoping the S15 isn't in this race because that will completely demolish us if it is. I'll speak to you about that in a second. Mitsubishi FTO. We have Black Panther's car. And we have a BMW 323i. Okay, that's fine. So yeah. Essentially in these like sort of early races, for whatever reason it puts the competition in like sports cars that are worth like ridiculous amounts of money, more than my car is. And one that it really seems to like putting in the game is the S15. Now, the Nissan Silvia S15 in this game, for whatever reason, I only found this out recently, I didn't actually realise it usually, but the S15, there's a special version of it called like the Aero Pack or something. That thing is ridiculously quick in a straight line. It's phenomenally quick. Yeah, so that would be the car I would usually be worrying about. However, in this race it hasn't appeared, thank Christ, so I think our biggest threat's probably the Fiat Coupe. Don't worry too much about us being sort of overtaken, it's a 2-lap race, it's fine. Now, where we get our advantage is the amount of corner speed we can take in this car, because we can take a lot of corner speed. Where we lose is, as you can see, on a straight, because basically everything passes us, save for a 200 SX apparently, which is great. So let's see if we can get past these guys. Essentially, it's just trying to make up as much speed in the turns as I can, while, yeah, basically just make up as much speed in the turns as I can and desperately sort of try to block on the final straightaway. It would appear I've never actually had the Alteza show up in this race before. It appears to be pretty decently quick. That was quite understeering into that corner. I didn't really want to do that. Also noticed the fact there's no bridge on High Speed Ring. I actually found out some interesting stories about that one. Polyphony actually covered up the reason because this track wasn't in GT3, just to quickly throw that out there for you. I always thought it was, apparently it wasn't. I didn't really realise, to be perfectly honest with you. But anyways, in Gran Turismo 3 this track wasn't there, and then in Gran Turismo 4 it returned, but it had a bridge over the that corner I just went through. And everyone was like, well, where's the bridge come from? And Polyphony actually covered it up very well and said, oh, there was an earthquake and it destroyed the track, and that's why it wasn't in GT3. And we barely just won that race. As you can see, that race was a lot tighter. 200 SX, if that straight was only like a little, if that finish line was a little bit further away, we would have lost that race, which wouldn't have been particularly good. Right, here's the thing, do I risk it now? I'm tempted to risk it and assume it's still synced up, because it all seems fine enough. I don't know if I'm man enough to do that, no. I'll sod it. You know what? We're going to leave it. We're going to see if this works. Hopefully, it works. If the audio goes out of sync, I apologise indubitably. So yeah, anyways, we move on to our final race, which is at Red Rock Valley. Another track which hasn't appeared since Gran Turismo 2. I desperately wish it would. For some reason, I'm just messing up my words today. I apologise. I also apologise in advance. It appears I seem to be getting some form of throat soreness. Yeah, there's been a bug going around, and yeah, I might be getting that. So if I sound different in the next couple of episodes of this, I do apologise, but it might appear I'm coming ill again, which is never good when you record videos. Anyways, in this final race we have a Ford Mustang 1998, we have an Alfa Romeo GTV, we have an Audi A3 or S3, I'm assuming an S3, a Subaru SVX, and a Volkswagen, oh wait, no, it's another Audi. It kind of looks like a Volkswagen Golf. That is an S3, that's also an S3. So, the past few times I've done this race, I have won it, but only just. The cars that showed up, there was a PT Spider, which is a Plymouth. No, I hadn't heard of it either. And there was also a Honda S2000 that showed up. Both of those cars were extremely quick. I think I've got kind of lucky with the grid on this. I think the fastest thing in there is the Mustang. And to be honest with you, like, the Mustang's the car I've been the most scared of the last few times I've done this event. But to be honest with you, like, the Mustang isn't actually that bad, usually, so yeah. The Audi S3 isn't particularly quick. Yeah, the Mustang appears to be going out in front, but we can almost out-corner a Mustang in a Nissan Micra. I think I've been pronouncing stuff wrong this entire episode, so I'm just going to call it the Micra from now on. I haven't been calling them Micra, but I'm assuming people... Oh my god, okay, that was not intentional. We are going to go around the outside of a Mustang. I really should have shifted down there, though. Yeah, that thing's just going to fly past on the straights. Let's see if I can get a push from anything. The GT-V6 is gone. You see, the Audis aren't that quick. And I don't know, maybe the Mustang tops out? I very much doubt it does. I mean, I know Mustangs are usually horribly geared, but I can't imagine that one is. Anyways, we are going to go up the inside of all of them through this corner. Oh, I just want to point out this is running whatever the hell the stock tyres are. I should have really paid attention to what they are. I think it's sports on this, or it could be comforts. It's really whatever this car came with out of the used car showroom. Because that's of course where I got this car, because used car showroom, yay. Right. Through the corner we go, nice and smooth. As I said before, this is essentially about taking the corners as nicely as possible so we can get a decent run off on the straights, so we can hopefully destroy them on the straights. Now luckily in Red Rock, the next chicane coming up is, like, the AI cars aren't very quick through there, while as I can basically fly through it. So yeah, this is where we're about to make up most of our time. If I cock it up through here, it will not be good, but I've got that basically perfect. The AIs seem to struggle with that a bit. Now this corner, I've never liked this corner, so ooh, mind you saying that, that was a damn good line through that corner. A little bit of a slide on the way out though. I think I'm far enough to head to not constantly keep looking back, but I almost want to, just to see if anything... no, nothing's going to catch up. So there we go anyway, that was the Red Rock Valley race. That was pretty good actually. I mean, I was almost a second quicker than the two Audis. So two Audi S3s in second and third, a Mustang GT in fourth, Alpha GTV goes into fifth, and the Subaru SVX goes into sixth. You would have thought I would have got a lot better at saying that, considering I do the Top Gear lap series, but apparently not. Anyways, our fastest lap was a 1:30, which isn't too bad for a Nissan Micra. Anyways, we get another 5 grand, and I have 40,000 credits. I'm going to try not to spend 40,000 credits on the car that's going to be in the next episode, because I feel like that would be a bit cheaty, considering it was my own recording issues, which sort of caused us to do that. But anyways, there we go. That is the Sunday Cup done, hopefully for the final time. In the next episode, I'm going to be doing the front wheel drive challenge, and I will be in a brand new car for that. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And yeah, as always, thank you all very much for watching. Mine's been the Real Emile, and until next time, a farewell.